Welcome to the FloridaDefense.com podcast. With over 30 years of strong defense and over 30 years of even stronger results, with FloridaDefense.com, you'll never believe you can't win.
All right, welcome to the FloridaDefense.com podcast. We are speaking to Tampa drug crimes attorney Mike Kinney. Mike, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Well, we've been kind of in this series on drug crimes. We've talked about cocaine. We've talked about marijuana. We just kind of talked about the overview. Today, we're going to be talking about, prescription pills, just kind of the other drugs, right?
Right. This is probably the category that has, in the past, I would say 5 years, risen steadily. And I think it's because of the ease of access. Anybody could open up either their bathroom cabinet or their aunt's bathroom cabinet, and they're probably going to find one of these controlled substances in there. And as a result, the ease of access has made it a bigger problem for law enforcement and definitely a bigger problem for young adults. So the controlled substances that are pills that you might get with a prescription from your doctor, such as oxycodone or hydrocodone, even morphine, which is a lot more significant of a controlled substance. Those items are punishable if you do not have a prescription. It's really called possession of a controlled substance without a prescription is the crime. And those crimes are punished the same way as the possession of cocaine, for instance. They're third-degree felonies, and they're punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And weight is significant here, because if a person has a significant weight of that controlled substance, simple possession can bring you into a trafficking amount. I mentioned in a podcast some time ago about a person who might be an addict, and an addict who has maybe they took a jar of pills of oxycodone when they were visiting a friend's house or a relative's house, and they have this legally obtained jar of pills that is no longer theirs, that is no longer in the house where it should be. They can be charged, even though they're addicted and plan on using it themselves, charged with a trafficking amount of possession and sent to prison for a minimum of 3 years. The trafficking statute, the way it's laid out, it addresses all of these types of controlled substances. It's any person who possesses a minimum of 4 grams or more of any morphine, opium, oxycodone, hydrocodone, hydromorphone, or any salt derivative, isomer, or salt of an isomer thereof, including heroin, is guilty of trafficking. Or 4 grams or more of any mixture containing any substance, but less than 30 grams, commits a felony of the first degree, punishable by 4 grams or more,
And that's
3 years. 3 years in Department of Corrections and a $50,000 fine. The next level from that is 14 grams or more, but less than 28 grams is a 15-year minimum mandatory prison sentence and a $100,000 fine. And I'll tell you, it's not impossible to get 14 grams in a 1 or 2 pill bottles. 28 grams or more, but less than 30 kilograms is a 25-year minimum mandatory prison sentence and a $500,000 fine.
And those are all listed, Mike, at the 893.135 trafficking from
You got it.
Okay, and we'll list that in the content on the website as well.
Right, and the last section, that last level is 30 kilograms or more, and that's the same thing as cocaine. It's a life felony.
Wow. I mean, what are some of the other drugs in different categories that you see?
Well, some other things that come up is what's I found to be very common is Xanax. Xanax is the brand name. Alprazolam, as some people call it, or alprazolam that's the generic term for it. That's a third-degree felony to possess. That is not punished as a trafficking amount. It doesn't matter the weight in that scenario. You can't have a trafficking amount of Xanax, but it's something that the more it is, the more you have, the more the prosecutor might be thinking you're not using it for private consumption and might be concerned and might want to consider a sentence that might be appropriate based upon the weight. So I don't want to say weight is completely irrelevant, but it doesn't bring you into a trafficking amount.
Okay.
What else you see now is, what you've heard about it. You've seen it on TV shows. It's this meth. This crystal meth is something that is very cheap to acquire, cheap to produce, and you find it in a lot of communities where, these people are making these items, and it's a very dangerous drug. I can tell you that you see the effects that it has on individuals, and it's punished very, very severely. Just the chemicals, just the having a combination of substances like Sudafed and maybe a couple of other items together can get you charged with a felony, which is called possession of listed chemicals, because there's been an all-out desire to eradicate that drug and make it very difficult to create. That's why when anyone goes into a store and they buy these Sudafeds and things like that, they basically have to sign their name on a list, and that list is actually put into a database where, if law enforcement wants to view later who made certain purchases at certain times, they could do that, because it's a problem that they're trying to get their head around.
Anything else, Mike, on just kind of the other types of drugs?
No.
All right. You've been listening to FloridaDefense.com podcast. This is Mike Kinney, Tampa drug crimes attorney at Bauer, Kreider, and Perry. You can find out more on their website at Tampa or FloridaDefense.com.
Thank you for listening to the FloridaDefense.com podcast. Our firm has over 130 years of combined legal defense experience. Strong defense, stronger results. Consultations are free. Visit FloridaDefense.com today.